Alright, my question was the outbreak of war in 1914 postponed the downfall of Nicholas II, but also contributed to his overthrow in the first 1917 revolution. And to what extent do I agree with this statement? Well, in World War I, military failures directly under the control of Nicholas II caused a lot of outrage in Russia. Poor conditions on the home front due to the overuse of the raw materials that was normally used for the civilians were then used for war, so they had a real big shortage of those. While he was gone, Tsar Nicholas put Tsarina and Rasputin in charge of Russia, but that put everybody in a state of uneasiness. They didn't follow anything they listened to and kind of just ignored them. And lastly, something that happened in World War I was a huge number of casualties. Many people lost the men in their family, including the even youngest sons, because to Nicholas II it didn't really matter how old you were, you just went to war if they needed you. These things that happened in World War I caused these effects. Russia's newfound nationalism failed and people were very angry due to the loss in the war. Nicholas II was solely at fault for the failed battles because he decided he wanted to take over the military himself, and due to the losses it really reflected on him as being a terrible leader. Lack of resources in Russia put thousands out of work and caused hostility, because once the people lost their jobs, started becoming poor, they got really angry and just decided they wanted to revolt, and everything just kind of fell out of place at that point. Tsarina and Rasputin became completely discredited due to their failed attempt of leading in place of Nicholas II while he was gone. And finally, Nicholas II's failure to make political changes caused his overthrow in 1917. Basically, the reason this all happened was because during World War I, during all the chaos, World War I actually covered up Nicholas II's tracks and made it look as if he wasn't doing anything bad, but once everything kind of came down to it and World War I was over and people could see everything that happened due to it, everything fell out of place and he was then overthrown. That's it.